Hey everybody, and welcome back to Paper Tales Stamping and Creating with Mikki. Tonight for our monthly card class we are going to do a fun, it's a really kind of a different fun fold for our Father's Day card, but it's super adorable and fairly easy, but we'll get to that in a minute. I'm not one to usually promote during our live videos because you guys are here for a purpose and I don't want to bore you, but Stampin' Up! Is hosting a virtual album retreat that I don't want any of you guys to miss. It's a wonderful opportunity to gather together and scrapbook. Um, if you're new, don't worry about it. These kits are designed to help you to learn. If you've been doing this for 20 plus years, like me, it's still an experience that you will absolutely enjoy, meet new people. There's going to be a few, I think they said they're going to do a couple giveaways or a giveaway. All the information is over on my blog. You can find it under Virtual Album Retreat in the events section. But just to go over things really quick, it is July 16th through the 18th from 2 to 10:30 p.m. Mountain Time. It is virtual, which means you can wear your pajamas, which makes it even better. But you can purchase the new month by month album retreat 2025 kit available right now, and it makes you get 12 2-page spreads. So they're literally going every month. This is the kit, what it looks like, everything you get in it. So you get the sleeves, you get a couple stamp sets, some flip flaps, photo markers, and then a bunch of cardstock. All the pieces are pre-cut, which is really super nice. And then of course the laser cut designs. The only thing they don't have is the 12 by 12 album, which again, you can purchase that online at our store. And then there's some basic supplies you're going to need: your blocks, your cleaner, your ink, your wine, your water, whatever you want to use. Just to give you a little glimpse at what these are going to look like, here is a sneak peek of the layout. So there's January through April. And then May and June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. All of these pictures that you see here on the screen tonight are on my blog, and I will post that up when I post the replay. I will put all this information also in there with links so you guys can find it. But the kit's a little expensive. It's $250 US. I know that sounds like a lot, but for what you get, it really is worth it. The experience alone is worth it. And if scrapbooking and memory keeping is something you're really wanting to get started, this would be the ideal time and the ideal package to get you started. So you can learn and get a feel for it, because once you get going, it's becomes second nature in the end. So, but if you guys have any questions, just reach out and let me know. Now, let's get to the fun of making our card tonight. I had to switch rooms because my son wanted mom closer. I don't know why, but we do what we do in our house. The neighbors are having a party, which means you can hear them yelling, so ignore all that. And of course, you might hear dog bark, trains, Star Wars. You never know in my house. But let's get started with the card. I see my mom is watching. Mom, can you tell me if you can hear me okay? I've got new microphones and I don't know how things are working. Mom? Mom. Well, okay. We're just going to keep going. All right, our card is using Trusty tools. And like I said, it is a fun fold card. And when I say a fun fold, it pulls out. Yeah, it says happy birthday, but that's okay. Ignore that part. But we are going to make this cute little adorable card, and there is a special feature about this card, and that is they have pockets. Each of these drawers, you could slide a gift card or cash, or the kids could do a little drawing or whatever you would like, or just leave it blank. You can not leave the pockets. You don't have to. That's a choice that we will discuss later on. But it's a really clever card. I really like how it came together. I like the way it looks, and it is relatively simple for a fun fold. I know a lot of people are afraid of fun folds, and there's really no need to be afraid because they're not as scary as they look most of the time. Now, I forgot to write down the paper measurements, so I'm going to go off with this itty bitty piece of paper. I hope you all have all your paper ready to go. So let's get started. Now, I did do a lot of prep work because there's a lot of little bits. As you can see here, you have to put all three of these pieces together, and the last thing you guys want to do is watch me color and glue. That's really quite boring. So I tried to do as much prep work as I could. And I have cut out, if I can pick it up, the blueberry bushel cardstock, the pecan pie, which is what we're going to use for the pegboard. This right here is pecan pie, and of course the blueberry bushel. And then we have, we'll get to the silver in a minute. He was kind of some drama. We're just going to set him aside. We're going to use the silver too. And then basic black and basic white. So, and the silver, I put online that you needed the brush metallic paper, brush metallic foil, I think is exactly what it's called. Don't quote me. But use any silver you have, and if you're like me and you go to stamp and then you have this dawning realization that you're out of silver paper, we had a fun discovery on how to make your own. And again, I have this posted on Facebook and on Instagram, and again on my blog. I was just going to grab a holographic paper. I don't know if anybody remembers that from the, what was it? The fall, I think it was, where they had the stellar with the space. But anyway, I was just going to use that to grab, and then my mom was like, hey, remember you can use aluminum foil, and my brain went duh. So I created my own foil paper, and all I did was used aluminum foil that I had here in the pantry, adhesive sheets that you can buy through Stampin' Up, and white cardstock. And I use the thick cardstock for durability. Yes, you can use regular cardstock. I did try it later on, but it was super simple to make. So if you're ever in a foil crisis and need silver foil right away, just grab the aluminum foil. It works amazing. All right, let's get down to cutting. Like I said, I did a lot of prepping already. First things first, always cut out your base. And this is cut out at, yeah, okay, orientation is confusing me. This is cut at the standard size. So it's 5.5 by 8.5. And then I scored at the normal 4 1/4, and then again at 2 1/8. So that's how the fold is going to, if I can get it to work right here. Normally you would have your card like this. I cut it literally right in half. 4 1/8 is half that. And then we're going to mountain and value fold it, which I'll show you here in a second. So that's where we want to start. I'm not going to go through on how, I'm not going to grab the paper cutter to show you this time. My table is really wobbly, so I apologize. I'm going to go ahead and varnish that real quick to show you how, and just fold that up. So, fold it and varnish it like you would normally a normal card at the 4 1/4, and then at 2 1/8, fold it back. And then just get a good press on that. And then set it aside because we're done with that for a while. And then you want to cut out your pecan pie at 4 1/8 by, 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And then basic white cardstock you want at, I just lost my place, 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 also. And then you'll also need scraps for stamping. I just used 1/4 of a sheet, so 5.5 by 4 1/4 there. And then the blueberry bushel, there's a whole bunch. And the basic black, same thing. There's some more basic blacks there. You need the little ones at the basic blacks. I'm not going to go through them all. You guys, there's so many. They start at 1 3/8 by 4 1/4, and it ends at 3 1/8, which I already have together, at 3/4 by 2 1/4, and they get smaller as you go for the silver, the blue, and the black. So like I said, I already have those pieces done because you guys don't want to sit here and watch me cut and color, because that's rather boring. All right, so let's get the stamping out of the way, which we'll need the 2 white pieces. And then I have already prepped on a block the pencil, the hammer, the wrench, and the tape measure. And then I also have the screws, which we are going to use. And then for my sentiments, I have the Happy Father's Day and You Are the Most Awesome. And it's essentially going to lay out the same way as this card on the inside, except where it says Happy Birthday, it's going to say Happy Father's Day. So I'm going to stamp my images that I need to color, because we will be doing that. Which one's the smaller one? I really should mark these with paper notes or post-it notes so I know what I'm doing. We are going to use a Versamark, and the reason we're using Versamark is I'm going to be coloring with our Stampin' Blends, coloring these in with those, and you need to use a water-based ink for this. Alcohol ink base and alcohol markers do not blend. That bleeds and you end up with a hot mess. So if you're going to be using the Stampin' Blends or any alcohol marker, always make sure your base is a water-based ink pad. And all of the Stampin' Up ink pads are water-based, except the StazOn. The StazOn are the alcohol-based. And speaking of stamp sets, I'm using the Memento Tuxedo Black Smoky Slate. Wow. Smoky Slate. There we go. And Blueberry Bushel. Words are really hard tonight, I guess. All right, so we need our Memento, and we are going to just stamp. This little table was not meant for stamping. Mental note, don't use this table again. And then we are going to just stamp him down. And normally I would do 2. When I'm stamping and coloring, I do 2 of everything because it's almost a guarantee that I am going to some way, somehow, magically need to redo another one. But I'm not going to do that this time. So there's our tools that we are going to be cutting out and coloring and all the fun things there. So we're going to set that aside to let our ink dry. Come to find out, I learned here not too long ago from a fellow demonstrator that my black ink is bleeding because I don't let it set and dry. You can speed the process up by hitting it with the heat tool if you want, but that's okay. It can take its time. Put a lid on that before I put my elbow in it. All right, so now we're going to do the inside of our card. And as you see here, if I can get it back over here, this pecan pie piece we're going to cut at an angle. So only half of this is going to show. So kind of draw in your mind or even mark it with a pencil the halfway point on your white. So know that you need to stamp on this corner, not on here. If you stamp up here, you're not going to see it. So let's grab the Blueberry Bushel. We'll start there so we can get that out of the way. And we're going to go right about here. We're going to stamp that down. And I think that's the only thing we're going to stamp with the Blueberry Bushel. Yep, that's it. So that's the end of that. Look, I don't have it with me, but there's a new little trick. I know some people, like my mom and myself, we struggle with opening and shutting these. A little fun fact, if you take just a really cheap generic chapstick and run it on the edges on both of these tracks, so it goes into the track and then just kind of wiggle it back and forth a couple times, it works like a dream. I'll have to do a little blip on that sometime and show you guys how to do that, because I was amazed and thrilled. Okay, and then we're going to stamp Happy Father's Day in Smoky Slate right underneath the You Are the Most Awesome. Just like that. And then we're going to take our nuts and bolts, and well, yeah, nuts, bolts, and screws, and we are going to kind of stamp off and around the sentiment here to begin with. And then, that is really loud. I'm just going to kind of in between where, and I'm just moving my stamp around, or you can move your paper around, whichever you want, to get different angles. Just so it kind of looks like screws are falling out of the card, because it's funny and kind of cute. And that is that. I believe that is all we are doing with our ink. So we can set all that aside. And we are done with this until we are ready to put it on. Now we will be building kind of backwards. We're going to do the inside and then the front, but you'll understand as we go why I'm doing it that way. So I need, now for the coloring, I used, let me think, because I didn't bring them all in with me. I used Daffodil Delight, Stampin' Blends, and then I used the Blueberry Bushel Stampin' Blends. And then on hand I have the Pecan Pie and the Smoky Slate. And the reason I don't have everything is because Movie Magic, I have them already colored. So you guys, again, don't have to sit here and watch me color. But I wanted to do just the hammer with you to show you kind of how to do it for those that are new and not sure, or not new and just like me, hesitant using the Stampin' Blends. I will give a shout out to my fellow anti-marker people, because I know you are out there. Stampin' Blends are amazing. I'm learning to love them. I use them more and more and more. They are a bit more, you can manipulate them a little bit more than you can on a regular marker. So don't be afraid. Grab it, go. There's really no right or wrong. Just try it out and see how you like it. But I'm going to start with the dark Pecan Pie. And I'm going to just kind of color in the handle here. And for this particular one, I'm just kind of going along with the black lines that are stamped down. Kind of going at an angle because the light needs to reflect a little bit. It makes it look lighter. And then I'm going to take my light Pecan Pie. My tip is broken, so that made me sad. I need to buy a new one. But we're going to color in the rest of the handle with the light, and we're going to take your Stampin' Blend on the light onto the dark and pull it up, because all you're doing is blending it. You can go down too, but it's really important to soften that color line and the magic of science, I guess. Somehow it blends together, and you can see that the dark and the light line here are starting to bleed in. It took me a while to realize that they bleed on their own. You don't have to constantly keep coloring over them. I did that when I first started using them. You don't actually have to do that. I will note that it does bleed in the back, so don't try to use it on something you want to see on both sides. Sometimes have things underneath just in case you get a little heavy-handed. Now we're going to do it again with the dark Smoky Slate. And this time I'm going to use the fine tip. I'm just going to kind of grab the shadow of the hammer there. And then again on the hammer head. And on most hammers, they kind of bevel out, so to get a somewhat 3D effect. Hello. Yep, all my windows in my house are open right now, so you're going to hear all the neighborhood fun too. But I'm going to just kind of, I want to get a depth is what I'm looking for, and by doing that, you know, following these black lines, it allows that depth to come in and form and pop out. And then we're going to grab the light and pull down that black, that dark. I'm trying to get it so you guys can see, but I can't see what you can see, so I don't know. And remember, all the videos, if you guys you come in late or aren't able to catch the live, these videos are uploaded, the recordings, so you can watch the replays, and I also post them on my blog and on my YouTube channel. So you can see the darkness there. I kind of don't like that, actually. I want to make it a little darker, so I'm just going to bring my black or my darker back in and just kind of hit those highlight points again. And because the alcohol is already there, it's automatically going to kind of fix itself, I guess is maybe the word I'm looking for. It's science. I don't know enough about science to actually know. Perhaps I should have paid attention in chemistry. That is our hammer. I hope you guys, I hope it's coming through on the camera lens here that you guys can see the shadows and the darkness. But if you don't want to go to all that work and you want a quick card, there is a two-step stamp option for all of these, including the paintbrush. You could just take your handle. This was not planned, so we're just going to magically just show you how to do this with the wrench. We'll pull him out. And we're going to take that. I need block. Bear with me here. My family likes to call this my squirrel-like ADD moment, which it kind of is. To do the two-step stamping, you're going to grab the solid stamp that you see in the stamp set that I showed you. Well, this one right here. And you're going to stamp it in your pad. And you can either stamp off or not stamp off. The choice is yours. I'm not going to. We're just going to go big or go home here. And you line it up. And stamp. And done. And your handle's all filled in. And you don't have to worry about it. Pretty simple. So if you're comfortable with two-step stamping, I would recommend maybe doing the lighter one. Stamping off so you can see the lines. But I would recommend doing this if you want to do it in a quick and a hurry. Just grab it and go. That's the nice feature with it all. So now we need to cut them out. And I have, when I did my first card, I discovered that they're kind of a pain in the butt to line up. So I already have mine pre-lined up. Yes, they are taped down with washi tape because they don't like to always cooperate. They like to slide as you go through, so I have the washi tape on there to keep them all in place. So we are going to grab the Big Shot. And I really don't know if you guys can hear him or not, but he's telling a story, so hopefully it's not too much of an interruption for you guys. And I'm going to grab my plates, just the standard sandwich stack, the base plate, plate number 2, and then 2 of the clear. And a really wobbly table. So I'm going to put this on my, I know you guys can't see it because my positioning here is just awful. I'm going to try to bring it closer. There we go. I'm just going to put it on, line it up on my mats. And because I have the tape on there, they're not going to slide around like they like to do. So when I sandwich it out, they won't move. Now I got to bring it back to me. Hello, sun. Goodbye, sun. Okay. And we're going to just bring it on through. Now, for those of you at the glass studio mat, yes, you can use your paper cutters and your Big Shot on them. If you're doing a lot, it's kind of a pain, but you don't freak out that you're going to break it, because I will admit I have dropped my glass mat a couple times and it's still in one piece. So they're pretty durable. We're going to need that again here, so we're not going to go too far with it. But now I have all of my pieces punched out. Just like that. And the dies are still stuck in place, which is where they're going to stay until we're all done, because I'm not going to try to put them away right now. So there they are, all done, all cut out and ready to go. And we will set them aside. I will say I don't like the way the pencil turned out. It needs to be a different color. I don't know. We're going to run with it though, because the Daffodil Delight and the Blueberry Bushel are actually complementary colors. So I thought it would look cool, but I may have been wrong on that one. May have misjudged that, but it's okay. Now we're going to grab our paper cutter and we are going to cut out our pecan pie. And to cut out that pecan pie, we are going to just cut angle or corner to corner. So line it up in your paper cutter. Like that. And cut. So now you have 2 pieces of paper. And I don't know, I think I need a new blade because it's being weird. And then we need to get the pegboard feeling, or the pegboard look, I should say. And there is a die for that, believe it or not. So we're just going to use the die out of the Trusty Tools dies to cut this out. And you will have to do it a couple of times. Originally when I did this one, I think I did it 3 times. But as I played with it, I discovered you can actually do it twice and still get the same effect. But I already have one partially done. So there's my piece, my angle piece, and you can see the holes in it already. And that is just taking the die and lining it up. Leaving about, I'm going to say 1/8 of an inch border, just to try to kind of, so it's not right up close and personal like it was on my first one. So now we need to do another one. And I wanted to show you guys the reason why I didn't do it all. And I wanted to show you how to line it up so you're not getting it all weird. You want to, these dots, because they're raised, they will actually slide down in. So like, I don't want to say a puzzle, but almost like a puzzle. And you see there, I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but I've got it down in there. You could go down another level if you wanted to, but then we're just going to run that through again, and it's going to cut the rest of the triangle out. And I am one of those that when I use my Big Shot, I try to do all my cutting at one time. So usually I do 3 or 4 things at once, but I don't want to get too busy for you guys. And I knocked it off, so give me a second to realign. Well, now. Hello, Gara. Neighbor's dog is barking. I love how when you open your windows in the spring and the summer, you can hear everything that goes on in your neighborhood. There we go. Well, that took a hot minute. This is kind of how the whole day's been going. You think you got something figured out and you can go with it and just run, and then nope. Well, we're going to hope for the best. I think it's lined up, but I don't know for sure. I want to show you guys how to line it up, but then it doesn't want to cooperate. And there we go. Move you back out of the way. Close enough. There is a little bit of an indentation there. I was off a little bit, but that's okay. You can't really see. If I don't point it out to you guys, you probably can't even tell. I can, but that's just me. So we're gonna set that aside. Now, if you're gonna do multiple of these, clean out the dots. Otherwise, they do get jam-packed in there. You can use the pointer end on the Take Your Picks or the Kirby hook one on the crafter tips, or if you're old school like me and have the old piercing tool, it works brilliantly. There's also a brush, but I don't like the brush. The brush and I have arguments. So we're going to set that with the over here. Had too many things going on and I'm confusing myself. So lastly, we're going to, as far as cutting things out and putting things together, we need to cut out DAD. The DAD, and we are going to use the aluminum foil again. Our aluminum foil silver cardstock, or your just whatever silver you have. And then these are the mini alphabet dies. They are available online for purchase. I love them. And the only downfall is they are one big, well, it's not really a downfall, but it can be. It's one big stamp or one big die, so you get all the letters at once. So you can't just pick and choose what letters you want, which is fine. For the DAD, we're going to have to run it twice. We can get 2 Ds because they didn't give us 2 Ds because they're mean. So we're going to run it through the Big Shot. Now this one will fit through the mini. In fact, they all will. All of these will go through the mini Big Shot, which is probably what I should have done when I moved locations. And what I'm going to do is actually stack this backwards. I don't know if you guys know the little trick or not, but sometimes when you're, I gotta clean that off. That's awful. There we go. When you use your Stampin' plates, they get, as you see, they get well loved. They are scratched up and they are dinged up, and you name it, it's doing it. Try to leave one clip, so it doesn't have that, so you don't actually cut on it. I messed up earlier today, as you can see, but that keeps it from transferring and impressing onto your cardstock later on, and as you go down, as you keep going, it can transfer to the back of, you can see it, I don't know if you can see it or not, but you can see the cracks and stuff are embedded in the back of this. To avoid that, keep one clean. I'll probably have to replace that one out when I am ready to not have alphabet all over everything. So in order to prevent that, because of the way I'm going to cut these out, I'm going to flip-flop my plates around. I'm going to put my somewhat clean plate there. I'm going to try to do this backwards so you guys can see what I'm doing. We'll see how this works. And then I'm going to lay my die down. And I just want the A and the D, so I only need the top row. I'm just going to lay my cardstock on the top row. Sandwich it, and because I'm doing it backwards, we're going to hope for the best. This table was not designed to use the Stampin' Cut on. That's quite comical. So there we have our first set of letters. I'm going to move the big shot. So then we got the 1D, 1A, and now we need another D, but in order to use it again, I need to clean it all out. And the silver, the foil, the aluminum foil, if you use that, if you have to use that at all ever, cuts really nicely, and it embosses. You can use the dry embossing on it, and it comes out really nice. Yeah, I played. It's fine. There is our D. We only need 1A. We'll set these aside for later use, and we're going to do it again. And because I only need the D, I'm just going to kind of line him up down here somewhere, somehow. Less is more. Well, okay, I guess we're just going to use the whole alphabet. And I'm going to actually do this over here on the other table so I don't make another earthquake. Oops, sorry, dog. I scared the puppy. My bad. Hi. Even my dog thinks I'm nuts half the time. Okay. Just like that. And I guess I still wiggled the table. Oh well. Okay. Here we go. Cleaning that out. I left my trash can in the office, so it's going everywhere. I will have to sweep this room later. Now we have our dad cut out and ready to go. So now we're ready to assemble, and we're going to start with, like I said, we're going to do things backwards. We're going to start on the inside, and then we're going to work our way to the outside, because doing the outside flap is so much easier when this is already done. You don't have to worry about it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it makes sense to my brain. Slide those over. And I got a new glue just for this, because I think my glue that is currently open in there is either A, about dead, or had a stroke. I'm not sure which. But we had a really big argument, so he's in timeout right now. But I'm going to take my glue, and because I'm not usually so what's the word? Picky about placement of glue, but because I don't want it seeping through the holes, I'm gonna just kind of be very super careful and just put little dots. Are you serious? Brand new glue. I love the glue. Sometimes that it can be a pain in the butt. So just little dots in between. Don't necessarily need to do every single one like I just did. And then we're going to do all three sides. We're going to play with the dark side a little bit here and just impatience at its finest. And just for security purposes, I like to add a little bit here and there in the inside, just in case. And then we're going to place that right along the top portion of the white that we stamped earlier. Just like that. So now our inside panel is done and ready to be attached to the inside. And just kind of glue it everywhere. Another glue explosion. I don't know, for some reason the glue has just been really mean to me lately. I don't know why. Line that up. And that is all done. Now we can focus on building our front. And to do that, we need to attach all the little pieces together. And as you saw earlier when I first was showing you guys things, I went ahead and pre-did 3 of them, so you guys aren't sitting there watching me glue things. But that's how we're going to glue them. We're going to do the silver under the blue, and then the blue under the black. And then I have mine, so there's a pocket. Give me a piece of paper. So you can slide things in there. If I measured things correctly, which I may not have, you should be able to slide a gift card in the bottom one. And then, of course, you can slide cash or whatever, fold them up, slip them in. Have the kids draw little notes and slide them in for dad. You know, however you want to do it. It's really kind of a clever thought, I think. So we're going to start with our silver. And I'm going to just grab a little bit of glue onto the back side. I'm actually quite impressed on how much this actually looks like silver foil. Cardstock, I don't know if you guys use it as frequently as I do, but the backing is remarkably alike. Oops. We're going to just line that up at the top. The goal is to make it look like a toolbox, as I showed you there on the front, on the first card that I did. I didn't want to use red. I don't know why, but I've been anti-red lately. I just wanted to use a different color. So after talking to my dad and doing my research, yes, they really do make a blue toolbox, because I wanted to make it so it was, so they weren't like, oh, you're hallucinating. They don't have blue toolboxes. Yes, they do indeed make them. They make them in a variety of colors, come to find out, including green, which is really cool. Although Dad said I can't have one because he's mean. I shouldn't say that he's mean. It's because the green ones are really, really big. All right, so those are done. Now we're going to attach them to, so you do the pocket, just glue 3 sides, the 2 sides and the bottom. Highly advise you check before you glue, because I glued one upside down. I don't remember which one it was, but one of those is glued upside down. So it doesn't open from the top, it opens from the bottom, because I'm awesome that way. Just like that. And we'll do our last one. And you notice why I'm pressing these down, I'm kind of being careful around the foil. There is one downside to using aluminum foil as a foil cardstock. It's sharp. It has really sharp edges. So I guess if you want to get a good press, do it upside down, use your shirt sleeve, whatever. Just be super careful that you don't cut your fingers. All right, we are going to now glue the toolbox on. And I just stack those backwards, so it's fine. Oh well. I'm going to start at the bottom. It really doesn't matter how you start. You can start at the bottom, top. It doesn't really, no preference, kind of a personal thing. I like to start at the bottom, but you're going to line everything up edge to edge. Basically, this is going to take over for your front card panel or your card base. Now, when I originally started doing this, I was doing individual, cut it in half, glue it on. Now, that took too much time. I got frustrated. So I just glued it the whole flap. Oops. You're not going to be able to see it, so it doesn't matter. And it goes a lot quicker. And now we can just line them all up. And they should all butt up next to each other. I'm sitting at a really weird angle in the camera here, so I can't, or the table, so I can't really see what I'm doing. Oops. And you see how much quicker that's going? If we were doing this individually, we'd still be doing the second one. Now that top one, he doesn't quite line up perfectly, kind of sticks over a little bit, so you have two choices here. You can trim it off with your snips, or you can just kind of overlay it. So, because it actually just overlays on that black right here on the black trim there, so you really can't see it. So that's, again, a prep, and I glued it upside down. Are you serious? Huh. Thank you, glue. This is why we use glue. It's more forgiving. There we go. Now I'll show you. You can see there that it's the trim, so you really can't see it. It all kind of blends together. So that is how that will go together. And now you can see the effect of the flap and how it covers it up. And it's super fun. You could, and the more I look at this, you could do a garden bed. You could do, oh my goodness, you could do zoo animals for a little kid. There's so many different ways you can take this. And the more I think about it, the more I want to play. So we'll see what happens. And then you can stick these, your tools, however you choose. They can just slide on in, do it however you want. There is no right or wrong, which is one of the best parts of creativity. So, okay, so they're kind of randomly in there. It's fine. We'll make the pencil stick straight up so we can find him. Now to glue those down without covering the flaps, because we want to leave those open, unless, again, you don't have to do that part. You can seal it all. But for those that want to leave them open so you can stick things in, I just pull it up right in the middle, just enough to tack it down. And then that way you know you still can get into the little pockets, but he's not going to go nowhere. And the last one. Oops. I'll go back and hit that with the rubber eraser to take off the adhesive. We're going to take our tape measure and he's going to go down here. Now, originally I put him on the way on the far edge there, but I don't know that I like that. I got him here. See, I have him clear over here. I think we're going to go closer to the middle. But we're committed now. We're going to run with it. And now we're going to hope Dad fits, because I think I might have squeezed it in a little too hard. Whoop. Okay. Yep, he fits. Now I'm going to grab my tweezers to do my lettering, because gluing them and holding them doesn't always work the greatest. You could also cut them out on sticker sheets, or if you wanted, you could pop them out with the dimensional sheets, the little 4x4 dimensional sheets you can buy. But I was just kind of doing I don't want to say a generic, but a generalized flat card, I guess. The dog is snoring. That is hilarious. What a goofy dog. And here we go. And speaking of creativity, creativity now is coming up, and that is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to get some sneak peeks. That's for demonstrators, and we get some sneak peeks of the new upcoming holiday catalog. I've already was able to purchase one of the suites that we're going to use during Creativity Now, so I will be posting some little fun things on what you guys can expect in our newest catalog. I believe it releases in September, but I'll have more details on that. You'll just have to wait to see what kind of fun things we come up with. So there we go. Now we have that on there, and that's, I would like to say that is the card, but we have one more step. And that is to grab what I originally thought was, well, these are retired, but I'm going to post the PDF file, and it has the actual adhesives that are not retired that you could substitute with these. I just randomly grabbed whatever out of the drawer. I was kind of in a hurry, I'll be honest. But I wanted the blue, the blueberry bushel. So I just used my alcohol marker and colored them in, and I didn't bring in the blue with me. So we're going to do a smoky slate to kind of show you how we did that. All I did was take it and color it. I'll let it sit for a second or two, and it's done, because alcohol dries really, really quick. You can do the same thing with ribbon. White ribbon, hit it with your alcohol blends, and run. You can literally customize white ribbon any color you want. Again, we'll have to show you guys how to do that, because it's so easy to do and so fun. So now we're just going to take our little, normally my take and pick, but I forgot it in the office. And get that little booger up there. I'm just going to kind of randomly place them. I'm filling in the dots, trying to think, like thumbtacks and a board or a screw or a nail. And then we'll do one more. Originally I was using, I tried silver trinkets that looked like screw heads. It looked awful, so we aborted that mission and tried something new. I even tried putting little handles, little dots, and it didn't work. So that is that, and the card is now complete. Don't forget to stamp your envelope, which I about did, because that's important. Naked envelopes are not allowed. And you can simply just nuts and bolts in the corner. Boom, boom, done. We have a decorated envelope. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, just something simple. But now you have a great card for Dad for Father's Day. Like I said earlier, you can use it for happy birthday, just because. You can customize them to whatever specific colors you want. You could, I'm gonna play. I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna play and try different stamp sets. I'm gonna try to do flower beds and maybe throw in some zoo animals. I'm thinking maybe Rusty might come out and play on the little step ladders here. So, but that is all I have for you guys tonight. I hope you enjoyed the card. If you make these cards, feel free to post them up here on the website, or tag me at hashtag Paper Tales with Mikki. Yeah, I'm getting fancy. I have my own hashtag now. But post them here, post them on Instagram. Even I don't know if you can post them on my blog or not, but share. I want to see what you guys are doing. We will be back next month. I don't remember which day. Let me pull up a calendar. So we always do the last Saturday of the month. Let me see if I can pull up a month here. May, June. So we will be June 28th. And what are we going to do? I don't have a clue. Um, I'm kind of leaning towards patriotic, but maybe summertime fun. I don't know. Give me a suggestion. Give me a shout out. Let me know if there's something specific you want to see this month and next month. I'm clueless. I don't know what to do. I don't know what you guys want to see. So please just let me know if there's like a stamp set or a product you want to see used. Drop it in the comments and let me know, or private message me, or whatever works for you. You can email me. Um, but yeah, reach out. But I will see you guys all next month for our next card class. And I'm always posting new things. Keep an eye out for blog hops and upcoming releases and a whole bunch of craziness that's going to be happening. So I will see you guys next time. Happy stamping.